Hey everyone, Gravity here. Before the video begins, I simply ask that if you enjoy my content to hit that subscribe button below. Nowhere else on YouTube are you going to find a Battlefield player who's played with teams competitively since Battlefield 1942, nearly 18 years ago. Don't forget to subscribe, and please enjoy the video. Over the nearly 20-year history of the Battlefield franchise, there have been several great maps worthy of praise. A few of these go on to become legendary, icons themselves of the Battlefield series, and appear time and time again through game engine upgrades and subsequent iterations. This is not that story. This is the story of the maps that few want to play, and remember only because they were that bad. Maps which should never be remade. This is the story of the worst maps in Battlefield. Never in a million years would I have expected Battlefield 5 to have an Operation Metro remake. No, that's not right. Redesign is a better term. If you've been living in a van down by the river for the past 11 years and have never played BF3 or BF4, Operation Metro is a chaotic dynamo of pain and suffering first introduced in the former's beta. A 3-flag map, Metro was a tight, mostly underground grind within, well, a metro station. A rule I have for this series is that a map should not be judged purely on the gameplay of a predetermined player count. For example, BF3's and BF4's Operation Metro can often be an explosive-filled, hallway-blocked, base-camped meat grinder, particularly in 64 players. But reduce the player count down to 32 players or fewer, and the map size lessens its main causes of frustration, even becoming enjoyable. In this way, I will tell you now that while Metro and Locker will not be on my best maps list, they certainly will not be on the worst for this very reason. Considering what Operation Metro has meant to Battlefield players, fans and haters alike, Operation Underground was definitely a surprise. And yet its new design and layout is so different to that of the map that inspired it, that to critique it passes no judgment on the originals. Operation Underground does inherit aspects from its relatives. A bombed-out entryway making for a grind, a large underground train platform and railway cars, and staircases leading to higher connecting archways. It continues a tradition of enraging hallway fights and explosive spam, along with adding something new, prone MMGs, which are often unseen and evaporate enemies en masse. It is also a linear 3-flag map which frequently ends in a base camp, but the similarities end there. Possessing a fairly straightforward design and characteristically simple, Underground has some major changes that drastically alter the flow and experience of the map compared to Metro. And while one change is for the better, the others make it undeniably worse. First, what is that one good change? In the many years that gamers played Operation Metro, far and away the largest complaint was being forced into a choke point around the B flag with only 3 access routes: the front, the back, and the side staircase. Battlefield 4 made some slight changes to this, adding front elevator access along with a narrow maintenance hallway to the north. This was beneficial but did not satisfy most players' demands. Underground fundamentally redesigned the subterranean layout with a series of interconnecting tunnels, corridors, rooms both large and small, even environmental hazards. This complex labyrinth is a vast improvement for player maneuverability and flanking routes. Players can choose the northern tunnels featuring a barracks and communications rooms. They could also choose the southern, spacious maintenance tunnel which connects from nearly one side of the underground station to the other. However, this south tunnel can be treacherous as it is flooded, sometimes to the ceiling, and with only a few pockets of air for breathing. Additionally, some generators in one of the connecting rooms can be quite shocking to players who get too close when using them for cover. The hall seer will flood at random times during a round, changing the experience. These side tunnels at the north and south are both locked at the start of the match and progressively open as the round proceeds. These additions completely offer a unique flow of infantry and great flank opportunities, assuming a team can break through. However, the main problem of Operation Underground supersedes the benefit of this system, and that is its flag layout. On the top, you will find the map of Operation Underground, and on the bottom, Operation Metro, both in their conquest layouts. What is the difference? The answer here is where these flags are positioned, and it matters. In Metro, 2 of the flags are placed in the Metro station, while in Underground, only 1 flag, Bravo, sits there in the center. The center flag is fine for the initial push, but without a secondary underground flag to fight over, the battle becomes less about the underground system itself, and more about the miserable hallway grind to get out. Almost inevitably, Underground devolves into the same spam fest, except instead of taking place underground, it takes place on each side of the station's bombed out exits. The narrowing of the tunnels into roughly 3 or 4 exits make the whole point of the underground labyrinth extraneous. With the addition of MMGs, these exit tunnels force 2 teams into a meat grinder resembling something worse than Metro. Additionally, most of these tunnel exits are long stretches, concentrating teams and preventing nearly any breakthrough or sneak pass. The problem consists of devoting the entirety of the underground to a single flag, whereas a second flag would have given the teams something to fight over using these connecting tunnels. And as the fight would have primarily revolved for these 2 flags, there would have been less of an impediment for lone players and squads to try to break out more frequently, greatly increasing the flow of the map. The lone underground flag is not the only horrible decision on this map. Previous versions of Operation Metro were synonymous with hardcore base camping in uncapturable zones, both in the tunnel to the C flag and the street crossing from the bank to the A flag. Underground changes this around by placing each team's forward flag immensely close to the uncapturable mains. Players stuck in the main uncaps spawn so close to the flag border that enemies can literally run into the uncap zone and get multi-kills before heading back into the safe zone. This is particularly bad around the C flag. To make matters worse, the map design is formulated into more choke points, so the camped team once again has extreme difficulty in breaking out. And most of the time, that never happens. This is such a poor attempt to solve a problem, if there was even an attempt at all. And it makes matters worse when you factor in that the original designer of Metro created this map, clearly having never experienced his own design often enough. While the underground tunnel system was a massive plus, the flag layout completely negates its effect on the experience. If there are level designers wanting to seek a potential solution to mitigate these problems, take note. Let us first take the problem of the single underground flag. This flag should be split in 2, even if it means the underground platform area and lobby atrium get expanded a bit. In our solution, let us use the size and layout of Metro's interior for scale, though in practice, the exits would also be reworked to allow for a few more entrances, either large or small. Next, despite its already massive improvement on gameplay, we will go one step further with the tunnels and open up 2 new exits. The first will be on the west side of the map and use the access tunnel currently ending for no good reason to the northwest. This tunnel would continue on and access the basement of this northern building. This building would have 2 or 3 floors above it, accessible by a staircase, and allow players breaking through this tunnel to either attack the flag to the west or get a massive high ground flank on the tunnel defenders below. Next, on the east side, we will create a brand new access tunnel entirely, one which would run from the eastern edge of the south tunnel and turn towards the river, where it would open up as a sewer gate. A new set of stairs would lead players up to the open forum above and once again provide an alternative flank and push opportunity. These open tunnels are what Metro's system should have included. A purposeful grind experience, but one in which many hallways exist to give breakthrough options and mitigate the explosive spam on each doorway. Finally, let's solve the main base problem using the key features of good map design. An elongated base border and multiple gimme flags. On Underground, this could actually be done quite easily on the A side, while it would require a complete rework of the C side. On each side of the map's border should be extended about 50 feet in each direction, and include additional routes which extend around the sides of the playable area. Multiple new exits would provide zones for breakthrough and make camping the base more difficult. This would also split the defending team's players thinner at each route. Lastly, let us split the gimme flag into 2 separate capture points. By splitting the points, even though they are in close proximity, it makes it much easier for a team to sway from one to another, or get lucky on one side if the numbers or player skills exceed that of the defenders. With 2 flags, another player rotation option opens up. If the attacking team captures one of these 2 flags, the defending players will likely push to recapture it, but in that process, this lane into the train platform tunnels has already opened up. If enough players make a push through using the multi-tunnel system, the battle can once again shift to the underground points. And with the defending team pushing more resources toward the lost flag, it also weakens the other gimme flag, opening up still more possibilities. If Operation Underground had a map layout like this, it would still accomplish its mission of being a tight, close-quarters infantry grind with plenty of explosive choke points and crazy killstreak flank potential. The tunnel exits would still be a point of frustration, though with a few more exits this pain could be lessened. Ultimately, a layout like this would spread players a bit more at times, make map flag rotations more common, make breakthroughs easier, and make base camps much more difficult, which should have been the primary goal for map design anyway. This layout could also apply to a Metro rework as well. This theoretical redesign also fixes another slight issue with Underground as compared to Metro. Whereas Metro worked well with a low player count, Underground is less reliable in this respect. The reason falls to the distance between flags. Each is of considerable walking distance, not including the tunnel side tracks. And when you have a low player count, suddenly you are encountering enemies far less often, and are exploring much more than you should among the larger spaces. Tightening up flag distances by adding more of them allows fewer players to fight faster over closer objectives. But as it stands, Operation Underground tried to solve one problem of Metro, giving players more space to move while at the same time changing a pivotal element which made the formula even worse. The problem of the single underground B flag essentially makes the map a grind to a grind to a grind, where once you finally break through, you die to a camping MMG player and have to start anew. Operation Underground doubles down, no, triples down on the base camping on the third damned attempt to create an enjoyable Metro map, which is unacceptable. Just because the map is meant to be a close quarters infantry battle does not mean that good map design should be thrown out the window. You can have a good map flow and your meat grinder if you make the proper layout.